Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining for December edition of the Stockton REI Network Mastermind. We got quite a few people who are returning as well as a few new faces here. So thank you all for coming out today. We do have an agenda. We do have an agenda that I want to share. Let's see if I can just share my screen. All right. So in terms of the agenda, I want to get started with introductions, and then we'll go around the group, talk about, state your name, where you're from, and talk about your real estate investing experience. And then from there, we'll go down to other items on the list. So I'll get started. My name is Willie Marquez. Obviously, I'm putting this together. I've been born and raised in Stockton, California, and I currently live here. I have a few properties here in Stockton, but I am primarily focusing on investing out of state now, more focused on Indiana. So I'm here to help the network and help people who are on this group kind of find deals, get in contact with people. So I've been investing for about 8 years now. I have almost 10 units to my name, and I'm excited to do deals. Yeah, thanks. We'll go down the list and just have people introduce themselves. So DJ, I think it's only right that we transition to you next. And then after DJ, we'll go to Paul.
Cool, Willie. Thanks again for setting this up, man. I'm glad to finally join in and take part. My name is DJ Dawson. I'm located here in Sacramento. I actually live specifically in West Sac. I'm a full-time real estate agent as well as a flipper. I started my investment journey in 2018 and 2019, I'm sorry. And so 2019, I got my license in the summertime. I did 8 transactions as an agent and then did 2 flips that year. This year, 2020, I've completed 2 more flips, and I have a third that I'm working on. I just got keys on Monday. As an agent, I've been part of 18 transactions this year, working with buyers, sellers, myself, buying on behalf of myself, selling on behalf of myself as an investor as well. And in addition to that, I have a financial education business called the Equity Boys, which is tailored around financial literacy that we don't get in the public school system. So there's a gap there on what it means to be financially literate. And my focus is on minorities and underserved communities, lower income communities, and really to help us bridge the gap on what we're not taught in the school system to break the cycles of poverty.
Awesome. Thanks, DJ. And DJ, this is his first time joining us for the mastermind, but if you follow Stockton, if you follow Bigger Pockets, you'll see him all over the forums there. One of the most active people I've seen on almost every post in Stockton. You can see him in the comment section. And DJ, I'll touch base with you. I'd love if you, maybe we could get you to present your business later on in a future webinar, but I'll get in touch with you on that later.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do it.
Sounds good. Paul, if you don't mind going next, introducing yourself, then we'll go to Jason.
Sure. My name is Paul Choi from Flight Invest. I'm a partner there. We're a private equity firm, also a multifamily syndicator. I was an architect in my prior life. We started Flight about 2 years ago with 2 other partners, Sherwin and Matt. We went from 0 to 150 units in the past 24 months. We started out in the Stockton market, picking about 45 units spread across 3 properties there. As we started to move capital to different markets in Northern California, we sold off 2 of the properties in Stockton, and we're going to go under contract to sell our 3rd one tomorrow, actually, with a buyer. And then we've been moving our capital to Sacramento market over the past 18 months, 12 months or so. And we're very bullish on the Sacramento market. And also we've been, in the past 6 months, we've been making a lot of acquisitions in the core markets in the Bay Area, such as San Jose, Santa Clara, Hayward, because we do see price softening and cap rates expanding in those markets. And we think it's the best time to take advantage of the situation that's going on here. But yeah, I've known Willie for a while. I jump in and out of his masterminds whenever I have time, but it's always good to chat with him about real estate.
Awesome, Paul. Thanks for coming again. I've known Paul for over a year now. We actually met up for coffee back when you were able to go out to public places and meet people. So
Yep.
him and his team are a really great group. I'm hoping we can get them to kind of give an overview of their business. And if you're in the Slack group, and if you know Sherwin's really active in our Slack group. He's always posting relevant articles and properties and whatnot. And Sherwin's a part of that flight group as well. So thanks, Paul, for joining. Jason, we'll go to you next, and then follow after Jason, we'll go to Derek.
All right, Jason James, originally from Los Angeles, but I reside out here in NorCal in Stockton. In regards to my real estate experience, I've been investing for like 2 years now. I got a property out in Metro Detroit, out in Harper Woods. I'm currently hoping to close on one by the end of the year. In the Roseville, Metro Detroit area. I have a multifamily out here in Stockton, so I really focus against buy and hold. And then, as we close out 2020 and get to 2021, like focused on burying in the Metro Detroit area and also in like the St. Louis, the Midwest. So I'm looking forward to meeting you guys and hear what you guys are all about.
Awesome. Thanks, James. Thanks for coming back. We're going to go to Derek next, and then Elmo.
I'm Derek. I'm relatively new to real estate, but I currently have one property in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I'm currently looking for small multifamilies in Stockton, Sacramento area, and I'm continuing to look into some other markets to San Antonio and Fayetteville still, but I'm still trying to figure out where I fit within the real estate spectrum. And right now, I think my main goal is to pick up some properties so that I can have them for long-term buy and holds, and just make my way through that.
Got it. Yep. Thanks, Derek. Thanks for coming back. We're going to go to Elmo and then Giangelo.
I'm Elmo DeSala, born and raised in Santa Clara, but now living in Lathrop, close to Stockton, so nearby. I'm new to real estate investing. I do have one property, which was handed down to me that I'm trying to take care of now. Currently rehabbing it, so getting that process down. But looking for deals, trying to get my very first one. So that's what I'm looking for, and seeing what you guys do and learn from you guys.
Awesome. Welcome to the group. Love to get everybody from every level of experience here. We're going to go to Giangelo and then finish with Vinny.
All right. Hey, guys. My name is Giangelo, and I flip houses. I started in Stockton, California for my very first flip. And I flip in the Central Valley and in the Bay Area. I only started about 2.5 years ago. I have a real estate license. And I also do property management with my girlfriend on the San Francisco Peninsula for short-term rentals.
Great, Angela. Thanks for coming back. And then we're going to end with Vineet here.
Hey guys, yeah, my name is Vineet. I'm an investor from Bay Area. I have a couple of units in East Bay. And this is my third time on this group. So let's connect and hopefully I'm just ready to learn a bit more. So.
Thanks, Nate. Great. So happy to get started here. We might have some people drop off later, but no worries. We'll keep going. I want to get started. I set up this agenda here. So introductions, this Forbes article that recently came out actually yesterday that ranked cities that are something you should keep an eye on in 2021. Then I'll talk about this Stockton duplex. It's kind of an interesting story that actually came up this week. Then we'll talk about topics submitted at registration and just have an open discussion and end with announcements here. Again, if you have any announcements you want to plug at the end of the meeting, please message me directly on Zoom and we'll make sure you have a few minutes at the end. So I wanted to start with this Forbes article, top housing markets to watch in 2021, and Stockton was actually number 9. Northern California has some housing markets showing very lively signs of activity. Stockton is one of them, where home values are up more than 50% since 2015 and a population that's up by 8.4% since 2010. In 2020, homes in the Stockton metro area have been selling like hotcakes. Last year, inventory stood at 1,555 homes available for sale in October 2019. A year later, available inventory was down just 611 homes in October 2020. Additionally, homes are selling faster than ever before. In October 2020, 66% of homes were off the market within 2 weeks, while in October 2019, that figure was only 37%. Pretty strong numbers here, pretty high volume here. I was just kind of curious what the group thought, any initial reactions, if they're personally seeing this themselves, kind of just initial reactions to this article and kind of what your thoughts are going into 2021.
I have no clue, man.
I think
not even
from the
I think it's just such a weird time right now. Like, to speculate on anything is dangerous. I'm not in Stockton per se, but I know here in Sacramento it's hotter than it's ever been. It's Sacramento's got a kind of unique versus Stockton. I don't want to get too much into the weeds.
Oh,
on
feel free to DJ. Feel free to chime in because obviously we have some investors here interested in Sacramento as well.
Yeah, so Sacramento has a unique immigration scale right now because you have people from the Bay Area who see it as a much more viable option from a purchase price standpoint versus what they got in the Bay. They could 1031 very easily a property that's a single family, which might be a median price point of $600,000, into a multifamily here, a duplex or a triplex in Sacramento, which can cash flow for them and mitigate their risk versus a single family unit, right? So it's much more attractive for that. In addition to that, someone could sell a single family property for $700,000 in the Bay, $700,000 in Sacramento, you got a mini mansion. So in that respect, people are looking forward to that from the Bay. Then you got the northern portion of California who've been wiped by fires, Paradise and that whole area, even Santa Rosa, the Upper Peninsula, they've been affected as well. So those types of people from the north are coming down to Sacramento in droves. And then you got people from the Central Valley who, from what I've seen, young people who want to get to the quote unquote big city of Sacramento, who are coming up from the Central Valley because Sacramento is still affordable. Once they do a little bit of research, they say, damn, the cost of living is relatively, within the same range. And I could kind of get myself up there and still have the quality of life that I have right now without dipping too much into my pocketbook. Stockton, I think, has a lot of the same values. The price points are there. The growth there from an economic standpoint is there. Their jobs are there to provide the growth that it's looking for. And I mean, if you're on this list, I think you're no longer a secret.
Yeah,
no longer a secret, that's for sure.
Just to expand on DJ, from a commercial multifamily point of view, Sacramento has grown from, let's say, a tertiary market many years ago into a secondary market, whereas the Bay Area is a tier one market. Stockton is still a tertiary market many years ago, and it still is a tertiary market. For example, we just sold a 14 unit in Sacramento, one of our smaller properties, and we closed yesterday. And we sold it at a 5.5 cap in Sacramento. We're selling an 11 unit in Sacramento as well in the next month or so, and that's going to be at 5.2 cap. So given the pandemic, the cap rates have stayed relatively stable, and actually has compressed a bit. The Stockton market, about 12 months ago, we were selling inventory at like almost a 6 cap, I would say, or high 5s. The property that we're selling tomorrow is at a 6.5 cap. So it's sort of driven not only by the buyers, but it's also driven by the lenders, what the lenders are willing to put. And a lot of them are sort of wary of Stockton market right now, or, it's always had a bad rap. But if you could find the good deals that are the value add, put the CapEx in and do the work, you can make some good profit there.
Thanks, DJ. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, I just thought this article is interesting. Obviously, it's super relevant to what we talk about. I think the one thing I want to add here is that I live and have been, I was born and raised and currently live in Stockton. One of the things that's really hard that this article doesn't unravel is crime's at an all-time high right now. The street's pretty hot. Every night you're hearing ambulances, police sirens quite a bit more. It kind of reminds me of 2006 or 2007, 2008, when Stockton was one of the most deadliest cities. And in addition, I have some insider knowledge in that my girlfriend is actually a nurse at the county hospital here, and she's seeing quite a lot of traumas, quite a lot of homicides. I think that's something to keep an eye on. Obviously, people aren't working, people aren't going to the restaurants, people aren't going to the bars. There's talk of street gang wars right now. It just makes me reminds me of 2008 when 2009 when crime was at an all-time high. So obviously it doesn't mention that, and I think supply is constrained artificially right now. So it's just something to keep an eye on as we head into 2021.
Can you elaborate on that? Supply is constrained artificially. Are you talking about just interest rates?
Yeah, I just I was speaking more so in terms of the eviction moratorium, of people not wanting to have open houses and scheduling open houses. Yeah, just more COVID related supply constraint.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Great.
So I got a question about your comments about the market. So it sounds like a handful of people are buying out of state too, or in other markets. And so what I'm wondering is why would you choose Stockton versus somewhere else? I mean, just like yesterday, I was looking at a couple of houses in Fayetteville, easily, without any question, I can buy right off the MLS and have like 1.3% rule, where the rents are 1.3% of the purchase price. Easy, just done right off the bat. Now, one of the challenges with that market is like their appreciation is going to be low. So it's definitely a cash flow market and not a appreciation market. But you run a lot of risk investing in markets that are you're expecting appreciation as the choice for you to invest your money. And at the time right now where the markets is hot and the high prices are super high, you're talking about this artificially constrained supply. If that was to change, then you're going to get stuck with a high price that you're not going to be able to sell 10 years down the road. I mean, you're going to just lose money on it. So I kind of wonder why, if you guys feel that, that strongly about it, or is that just, what's your thoughts on other markets relative to this?
I think it's a safer play, right? If you live in the Bay Area and you're only investing 45 minutes an hour away from you live, you just feel safer versus investing 3,000 miles away, right? There's a lot of unknown. You're putting a lot of faith into your boots on the ground. And then for some people, like it's a safer play. And I mean, there's a higher risk, right? The appreciation play, if it takes a dip based on what's going on with COVID, other local things that may be happening. But a lot of people don't invest out of state where the numbers could make more sense, right? Because there's always potential risk. It's just like the money going in seems a lot less riskier versus, investing a $500,000 in California versus $150,000 in, say, a Midwest county, right? The risk is still there. Mm-hmm. But like, I think for a lot of investors, they would rather invest where they can drive to the property or within hours versus not being able to see it and depending on somebody else. So.
Yeah, I think the other thing too that kind of factors into that is different people have different needs or like plays on the real estate. Right. We've got a handful of flippers that are here. A hot market like that, great for you, right? Because you have an opportunity to capitalize on that. But for a buy and hold, I'm struggling with finding things that make sense, even to the point where, and I'm going to want a PM, and in order to be able to afford a PM and still be able to cash flow a little bit, just it's tough. But anyway.
I'd agree with you, man. I just think, first of all, California is the most tenant-friendly state in the country. the barriers to entry on a rental property in California is going to be much higher than it is going to be anywhere else. You're not going to hit the 1% rule with any property that's on the market. And in order to cash flow, your cash on cash return is going to get impacted. So with all that being considered, why the hell would one person do buy and hold strategy in California? It wouldn't make sense. Now, like we said, as Jason said, I would love all my buy and holds to be right in my backyard in theory, but in California, it just doesn't work for me. Unless there's an off-market property that you could burr or something like that, that would be amazing. That's what I'm looking for if anybody got one.
Yeah.
But with that same thing being said, there's some things you could do in every single market. A 10% margin on a flip is going to be a lot nicer in Sacramento or Stockton than it would be in Fayetteville or some small city in North Carolina, where that 10% margin isn't nearly the same dollar amount that it would be here. So I think there's pros and cons and different strategies that you could apply to every different market. And I mean, I don't know. I have the same sentiment as you from a buy and hold standpoint in California. I personally wouldn't do it, and I'm looking to take my talents to South Beach like LeBron James.
All right, we're gonna expect a Boys and Girls Club conference when DJ buys his first house in South Beach.
Let's go.
So yeah, I think DJ and James hit on it. I think other factors to consider, Derek, are people don't know you can invest out of state. First of all, people don't have the network. People don't have the property manager. They don't have the realtor. So it's kind of almost more difficult to set up that team if you don't know anybody who currently does it. So there's that barrier to entry as well. And then I think James hit on the most prevalent point is that people want to drive to something, see something that they own. I think, but to your point and to DJ's point, I think the buy and hold is getting much harder. Unless you're burring it and it's like a duplex and you're just looking for someone to subsidize some of the rent and you're not looking to cash flow entirely, that also makes sense as well.
Yeah, house hacks are great. That seems like an amazing deal for.
I'm doing it
for California.
I am as well.
There you go.
I bought my house 3 years ago on my 25th birthday, and I've been house hacking ever since. And I'm 28 now. My girlfriend's 25. We live together. We don't have kids. We're not married. So we're like, fuck it. Why not? Or excuse me. Why not? There's no reason not to. It's financially irresponsible to be young and not have kids or a wife and try to live by yourself. Like, it makes absolutely no sense in California. It's a lot. It's expensive to live, and then if there's an opportunity where you could, do a 3% down loan and get your foot in the door with something. And I just cracked 80% LTV last month. So when I refinance and drop my interest rate from 4.25 to hopefully low 3s or high 2s, my out-of-pocket costs will be zero.
Yeah. Even better with the high prices and the appreciation, those work in your favor.
Appreciation is what got me to 80%, more so than extra money going towards my principal. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I mean, if you're going to have somebody else pay for your house, why not buy the bigger one? Have them buy you a bigger house.
Yeah, I think that's definitely. I definitely a lot of people
don't last forever though. I'll tell you that. All good things must come to an end, and eventually you're going to get stuck with that mortgage payment. So you want to make sure you're comfortable with it when shit hits the fan.
So, hey, DJ, you're reading by the room then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And at first, I was doing the whole like, send me this much for the rent. Hey, I need X for the gas bill. Hey, I need this for the water bill. And I was like, this is stupid. So I just took 30 minutes, created an Excel file, said, you send me this much every month. You send me this much every month. And that has made it so much easier for me. And, in 3 years of doing it, fortunately for me, I've been able to do it with like two of my really good friends. So I grew up with my whole life. So it made it a lot easier. And of course, there's always going to be ups and downs when you're landlording or you have roommates. But for the most part, it's been a pretty good experience. And I'm really, really big on transparency and open communication. I'm not going to let something linger in my home and feel uncomfortable in my own walls. There's something that needs to be stated or something that needs to be addressed. I nip it in the bud ASAP and move on, because that would like living uncomfortably in your house because there's some stupid beef or miscommunication amongst people is usually what it comes down to. It's like, that's not something I'm willing to do. So it's worked out for us thus far, and she's not mad. She hasn't made any comments about wanting to not do it. So I'm gonna keep milking that cow, you know.
For sure. Great. All right, I do want to switch over to this next slide that I have. I sent this over in the invite. Hopefully you all had a chance to look at it, but I thought this was an interesting story to share. 9374 Kirkby Lane in Stockton, California. So I regularly have conversations with individuals in the Stockton REI network who reach out to me asking, you know, is this neighborhood good? Is this neighborhood safe? What do you think of this property? They kind of just want my feedback, and I'm always happy to give that feedback. I always love talking real estate. So if any of you want to reach out to me and talk, I think I'd be more than happy to reach out to you and discuss. But this person who was in the network reached out to me and sent me this listing, asked me what I thought of this area, what I thought of this neighborhood, and also brought the idea of me potentially property managing it for them so that it helped them cash flow on this duplex that they were looking at. But one thing I did want to share about this is that this person was interested in this neighborhood because he had heard from a friend that the Murata area of Stockton, which is a northeast side of Stockton, closer to Highway 99, is a safe, appreciating market here. After reviewing this listing, I did talk to the person and said, that's partly true, but the house you sent me isn't in that area. If you know the Stockton market, you know that there are pockets that are really good and pockets that are really bad. In this case, 9374 Kirkby Lane is actually just on the outside edge of the good pocket of Murata here. So you'll see here surrounding Highway 99 is actually a really great area. A lot of new home developments, a lot of homes that are 300 plus, 400 plus, 2 stories, built in the 2010s. I actually used to live in this area, so I know this community really well. But unfortunately, this person's search identified a duplex that was at a great listing price, $359,000, could potentially cash flow if they got $1,600, $1,700 in rent per unit for this duplex. But unfortunately, it's right outside this pocket. And if you actually look at the map, there is this little park here that separates, or this little space here that separates this pocket on the west side and this pocket on the east side. So I just wanted to give this as a disclaimer. You know, Stockton is very, it is very compartmentalized. The home that you buy in this market really depends on the specific pocket that it occupies. I'm sure that's the case with every community, but I think that's most definitely more relevant in Stockton. So what I did for this this person was I actually drove by the home, and if you got the invite, you got the link to the YouTube video where I actually drove by the home and took a video of the community that it was in, and you could see there's quite a few shady characters standing outside the home. A lot of cars not parked in the right spots, and it's just people who don't take care of the home in the neighborhood. So I just want to give that as a disclaimer. You know, feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to other people in the network. Join the Slack group if you have any ideas of properties that you're interested in. And I'm always happy to drive by a home, a community if you're interested in something. So, but like I mentioned, the bigger story here is just make sure you're paying attention to the specific pockets and neighborhoods that you're in. Any kind of comments, questions on Kirkby Lane, this whole experience here?
Yeah, I think Street View, Google Street View, because I actually clicked on it right now, and you can just tell by, I mean, there's baskets everywhere, there's trash all in the streets. Like, those are all telltale signs. That's, I mean, depending on what you're looking for and what your level of comfort is, that's probably not where you want to be, you know. And so investing out of state, I use it a lot, right? And then of course my realtor, he does like the walkthrough videos, but I live and die by that. Is like the Google Street View. I'll go up and down the street, back and forth, and you can get a pretty good gauge of a neighborhood just by looking at trash. To your point, shady characters walking up and down the street, right. You know, and then depending on like the market, like in, you know, some areas of Metro Detroit, you still have like a lot of areas that may be abandoned. Like you'll catch on real quick, and that's, you know, for me at least, that's not an area that I want to be in, because, you know, you can. The area matters, you know, so, but that would be my suggestion. Street View is a lifesaver.
Yeah, great feedback, Jason. Any other questions, comments before we move on? Great. So wanted to get to the discussion, open discussion here. So I know at registration, several of you submitted topics that you wanted to discuss. So I have them listed out here. I just want to keep this forum open. So I'd invite all of you to come off of mute. If you have any questions or if you have any comments, anything you wanted to discuss, feel free to jump in here. These are some just icebreaker topic discussions that you entered during registration. So if anybody wants to kind of expand on what they're looking for, or what they want to discuss, feel free to unmute and jump in here.
So yeah, I maybe we could talk about Burr. Is anybody successfully burred this year?
I'm very slowly burring in North Carolina. Back to one of those issues about the out of state stuff. I bought it cash out, full price, whatever. And I haven't been able to get a contractor on it for like 2 months. And he's not going to be able to start until like January. And I've tried others. I got some other costs, some other things, and it's just not going to work. So I'm stuck with this one guy, but now I got to wait. So, but once that happens, it should be pretty good. But I guess one of the questions with regard to Burr that I was going to ask you guys about your experience here in Stockton, what kinds of source, DJ, you mentioned off-market properties and some of the various deals that you've done and stuff. What are the sources for some of those where you would have the ability to Burr? Because you're not buying it off the MLS. And, maybe like down lower there, it talks about foreclosures or other things. What are the sources that you guys, if you guys have those for off market or something where you're going to have a value add?
I recently started using PropStream to do some direct mailing campaign. It's pretty cool. They let you could do, so what I did was I did a voicemail blast, postcard blast, an email blast. Identified what you could do on the website is you could identify, 65%, or you could just say, 25% LTV loan to value, non-owner occupied, 8+ years of ownership, right? Those are properties that this person has a decent equity position. They're in a position where they could make a deal with you on the home and still put a decent amount of money in their pocket, right? So I used that criteria, something along those lines, and sent out a mailer blast with that. It ended up costing me about $350. It fully customized my postcard to have my logo on it and my information, any pictures I wanted to add on it. It shot out a bunch of voicemails. My phone was going crazy that day, but nothing materialized up until this point. And my last deal that I got, my last 2 deals, was one of the guys that I work with knew the guy who was getting a divorce with his wife, and they had to sell immediately. And then the last deal I have, the one that I just closed on, was my buddy in my brokerage, who's also a realtor, of course. He was in escrow on a flip of his own, and he's a cold call king. Just uses the Red X and just calls like crazy. Calls, does a ton of business. And a flip opportunity came up, and he said, "Hey, why don't you, I don't really have the bandwidth to take on 2 projects right now. Why don't you take it on and then let me list it on the back end, and that'll essentially be my wholesale fee." I said, "Let me run my numbers," ran them. Sounds good to me. And we're rocking. So, man, there's all these deal machine and and all these different strategies, but I'm not going to lie, man, all my biggest wins in this business have just came from putting myself out there, meeting people, being explicit about what I want to do, letting people know who I am, letting people know what it is I'm talking about, and that I'm fucking serious. And people have responded to that, and it's led to deals. It really has. It maybe not deals, but like all my subs I've met through networking and connections, and built relationships with these guys, and knowing how to run my numbers of stem from bigger pop. The first day I actually met with somebody who was a flipper, it just came from Bigger Pockets. I just hit him up and I said, "Hey, you're doing a flip and sack. Can I come check you out?" And that was like a week after I quit my job with no plan. Shouldn't have done that, but I'm good. I did it, and I'm glad I did. And I just went and checked out his property. I helped him landscape for a full day, and he was like, "Dude, you're putting in work. Like, I appreciate it. Like, obviously, you're serious. You've provided value to me. Let me do the same to you." And I try to pay that forward as much as possible. I had 2 guys the last 2 days at my project from the West Sacramento Bigger Pockets meetup, and I just told I put the invitation out. I said, anybody wants to come see a flip and not afraid to get their hands a little dirty, I'd be happy to have you. I'll show you how I run my numbers, etc. Blah 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 blah. And those 2 guys have came and busted ass for me 8 hours a day for the last 2 days, and it's been extremely helpful for me. And I told them both at the end of the day, I'd be happy to put in as much value for you as I possibly can. But to answer your question, after that whole roundabout, I have only, for the most, not only, but for the most part, all my stuff and all my deals has just came from people I've met, networked with, and built relationships.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, to add to that, I don't do any of that cold calling. I don't do any of the mail blasts, anything like that. This is actually the first year that I've actually put myself out there and kind of told people that I do real estate. It's actually been kind of a push, like a tug of war for me internally about how public I am with being invested in real estate, because it's very private to me. It's always been private. I don't really like to share that I'm a landlord. I don't really like to talk about the numbers. I kind of like to kind of keep that behind the scenes. But this is the first year that I've actually put myself out there with kind of building the Stockton REI network and getting more active in Bigger Pockets and actually creating the rental property dashboard and actually telling people that I invest in real estate. And I've never actually had so many people tell me that they're actually thinking about selling a home. I've had friends who've said, I got this home from my parents and I'm considering moving and I'm thinking about selling it. Or like I mentioned in a previous mastermind, I've gone to garage sales where people are saying, yeah, my father passed away or my mother passed away and I'm considering selling it. Or people who are hitting me up on Bigger Pockets saying, hey, I know you invest in Stockton. I have this off-market deal in Stockton. This person's interested in selling it for cash, doesn't want to put it on the market. Would you be interested? So I would just say, to DJ's point, put yourself out there. I think there's a risk with privacy, but I don't think it's really, I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. Update your LinkedIn, update your Bigger Pockets profile, get on every forum that you see DJ commenting on, and you'll get your name out there, and people will know that you actually do real estate.
That is literally like, I had 3 or 4 clients this year. It was funny. I got a guy I'm working with in Modesto right now. He's trying to find a multifamily, and he was like, yeah, I was working with somebody from the David Green team and I wasn't getting what I needed out of it. And I was like, oh God, like David Green is going to X me out the game, like the mob boss of Bigger Pockets. And I was like, that Drake lyric, when your idols become your rivals. I was like dying to myself. But yeah, like I said, and for myself, I was in a position where I quit my job. I knew I wanted to do real estate. I foolishly had no plan. I mean, I kind of had a plan, fix and flip locally, and utilize those profits to buy a whole out of state is the plan, and build Equity Boys out to where I could, and then shift my focus from this to the community development stuff I want to do, right? But I had no other options. I didn't grow up around anybody who was a millionaire, anybody who was a real estate investor, anybody who was a lawyer, a doctor. So that wasn't my environment. So I knew if I wanted to meet these people, I couldn't just, the Bigger Pockets forums led me to believe that, okay, I see people from all different walks of life being successful at this. Young, old, fat, skinny, black, white, Asian, Mexican, whatever. Every different walk of life that has some form of success in this thing. So I know what hard work looks like. I'm willing to put myself out there. I just need to put the pieces together, and I think I can make this work. So the first thing I did was change my environment and put myself out there. And, it was slow at first because I had no value I could provide. But through time, that first guy that I worked with that is landscaping, that same deal, he said, hey, I need about $5,000 to finish it out. Would you be interested in giving me a loan? And I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, I would. Now I'm a minority partner on a flip officially, right? So, I mean, 5K is in the grand scheme of a deal isn't a ton of money, but I have skin in the game and I can now market that as my deal. You know, if you're getting involved in the deal, that's your deal, you know? So, I mean, that's really it, man. Putting myself out there has got the most, all the marketing, and I just spent, me and my broker, we just did 2 listings on the same street, and we spent $1,200 on a mailing campaign, thinking we were like, we spent $1,200. If we get one deal out of it, it'll pay for itself. Haven't heard a damn thing. Haven't heard a damn thing. So I don't want to say there's no such thing as luck. Opportunity plus preparation equals luck, but opportunities present themselves the more you put yourself out there to find them.
Yeah, I was going to say the other thing that I see out there too is information from wholesalers that send you stuff, and it just, I've yet to see one that it looks good. You know, a lot of it's just bottom feeder stuff that just doesn't, you know, they're just really stretching it and doesn't make any sense. So I definitely agree with you. I think the networking is probably the best source. But and again, that's hard to do out of state, right?
Yeah.
So
and it's hard to scale really too with that too, right? Like you're at the whims of the universe to bring you a deal. It's like there's no systematization to that, as David Green always talks about. So that's kind of what gives me a little bit of anxiety, like when I'm between deals. And fortunately, something has came up, you know, to bridge that gap. But I would need to. That's, you know, as you kind of advance, there's going to be new bottlenecks that you're going to run into. And finding deals is it. And I think that's one that we all deal with at this point in time.
Great. Just we had a quick time check, 12 minutes up until 8 o'clock. Again, if you have anything you want to plug at the end, please send me a chat directly so that I can save some time for you to make your announcement. But again, this is a totally open forum. Feel free to ask any questions, kind of let's bounce ideas off of each other. Thanks, Derek, for getting us started.
Yeah, I'll just say too, you know, I heard you mention Willie before about Sacramento. If anybody has any, in the same breath as Willie, if anybody has any questions about Sacramento or areas out here, I'd be happy to answer them for you. I've been out here for a couple of years now. I think I have a good understanding of the area as a whole. I'm still trying to learn about Stockton too. I got a buyer coming up in January. Once he files his second year of taxes as self-employed, who's looking to buy. I don't know anything about Stockton. So I'm definitely going to be tapping in with you, Willie, to discuss some stuff. Maybe buy you lunch, come out there and talk to you a little bit.
Yeah, no problem. Has I know DJ's talked about some deals that he's working on right now, but I'm kind of curious to the rest of the group. James, Elmo, Giangelo, Derek, are you working on anything right now? Is there anything that you're kind of in escrow or kind of thinking about placing an offer? Where are you at currently with your real estate investing?
So for me, I put in St. Louis, it's a crazy market. We put in like 2 different offers. Found this was on the MLS, and they priced the property to spark competition. So asking on the MLS was like 50K. ARV was like 190. Probably needed about right around 50,000 worth of rehab. We knew we had to be aggressive, so we offered like 25K over asking cash, and still got beat out. The agent shot us a note back that they're like 42 offers. Like that's how crazy it is out there right now. It's just dumb crazy.
I hate that.
Yeah, and so in Detroit, I may put in 1 cash offer, and then tomorrow I'll probably be putting in 2 other ones. Like my agent, he just sent me over the videos for like 6 properties he walked today. but same deal. It's super competitive right now. And then like the houses that we're bidding on are essentially on the MLS. I'm on a bunch of different Facebook wholesale groups, but like the properties that they're sending are ones that I just aren't in my area, because like when you get out of Metro Detroit, when you get into Detroit, it's crazy, and I'm not touching any of that. I'm more the suburbs and kind of the nicer areas. And then like from what I've seen, and like I don't have the deeper connections from the people that live out there, like those deals aren't being posted on those groups. And so really using my realtor, he's an investor, he's a big flipper, so he does have some connections, but lately everything that we've been looking at has been on the MLS. And I mean, as you guys all know, it's freaking dogfight with anything that comes up that's halfway decent. So, but hoping to put 2 more offers in tomorrow and then kind of go from there.
Jason, are you strictly buy and hold?
Yes, strictly buy and hold.
Okay. What's your average price point for these out-of-state properties that you currently have?
So right now, like I'm trying to burst. So in the area that I'm looking, ideally I want to be all in for like 75 and with an ARV of like 110. That's like a good deal for me. And in the pocket that I'm in, you can do that, but they just go so quick. But like even in the pocket that I'm in right now, DJ, like you can buy one off the MLS, you'll get 1%. Like that's with maintenance, capex, everything. PM, yeah, you can buy one for say 80,000. It'll pull in about like 1,000 and some change in rent. So, but for me, I want to be able to scale it. So that's why I'm really focused against Burr right now.
Right. Yeah, I'll have to talk to you, man. My strategy. 2022 is when I started purchasing some buy and holds for myself.
Okay.
And I'm all in on out of state, like yourself. I'm all in on it. It's just the barrier to entry plus 1% opportunities plus tenant friendliness versus California seemingly a no-brainer. I don't want to say that, but it just makes sense to me. And so I'll definitely pick your brain on it. I'll send you my information.
Okay, for sure. Let's connect, man.
Jason, the only 2 cents I want to add here, like I mentioned, I invest Indianapolis, out of state. One of the strategies that's been helpful for me is I actually keep a network of realtors. The reason I do that is several realtors have connections with property managers. And so when property managers come across a property that the owner wants to sell, those property managers will reach out to their network of realtors to sell the home for that property manager if they don't have a realtor within the property management company. So I bought a duplex from an agent who has a direct connection with a property manager before it hit the market. So she knew that I was interested. That property manager did not have a realtor arm in their business, and they reached out to that realtor that I kept in contact with. And that realtor reached out to me before it hit the market. So I would keep a larger, wider net of realtors. Try to find the realtors who have a direct connection to a property management in your locale. And then when somebody wants to sell, who owns a property that's being held by the property manager, then it'll go to your inbox.
Smart.
Yeah. Good feedback, dude. I'll definitely start kind of widen my network, man, for sure.
Yeah, and I think honestly, especially because it's out of state, I think you can keep a wider net. Whereas if you're face to face, they kind of want you to be committed to that one realtor. I don't know, DJ, how you feel about that, but yeah, I think because out of state, I think.
Transparency, that's like I said, bring it back to that, right? If you're saying, hey, I'm looking for a deal, I'm ready to jump on it right now, but I'm not going to limit myself to one agent. If you could help me find a deal, I'm willing to work with you. I'm willing to do that as an agent. How much effort I'm going to put into that person, other than setting them up with a portal and shooting them everything that I see off the top. But like you said, why limit yourself? You're a legitimate buyer, and you're not trying to find your forever home. You're trying to find a deal. So if I'm trying to find a deal on the PlayStation 5, I ain't going to just Best Buy.
Perfect analogy. I love it.
Yeah, that's really good advice because so in terms of deals that I'm pursuing this today, I wrote to my realtor in Fayetteville 2 properties that I'm interested in, and they're both pretty good properties. I'd take either one of them, and I wrote them an email. Didn't hear back from them all day, and you know those properties are probably gone. I mean, one of them came up yesterday or this morning, and I wrote to him right away about it, and never even heard back from the guy. So I'm gonna have to maybe. These guys are rock stars in that area, though. So I don't know what happened. Maybe it fell through the cracks or something. But still, like you said, if you had a couple of options that were out there, then you know maybe they'll be bringing. You have more opportunities brought to you.
No, especially with people that are, you know, I mean, like you said, rock stars. Sometimes they just get overworked. But to your point, like, I'm ready to make a move. Like, I should be a priority to you. And if I'm not, I'm gonna take my business elsewhere.
Right.
All right, so we're getting close to 8 o'clock here. I do want to spend some time on announcements. So join us on Slack. I know a few of you have joined us on Slack. Like I mentioned, we have some great people who contribute to the Slack conversation. Sherwin's always super active on there, sharing helpful articles. But from time to time, we get some off-market deals that are listed on here. I provided a link to one of the properties that somebody on Bigger Pockets reached out to me, asked if I was interested in buying. So people are listing properties here. It's not. So I would recommend joining us on Slack if you're not already on there. And then to close out, I do want to kind of plug the Stockton REI Network website. If you go onto the website, if you go to the blog, I've actually been posting quite a bit of blog posts about my experiences investing in real estate and accompanying them with videos to kind of walk through things I've done. So if you're interested in contributing, kind of giving your 2 cents, if you have anything you want to post, you're welcome to send it over and I'll get it on the blog to get you more exposure. If you want to promote yourself, your business, feel free to. But if you're looking for any additional articles to read, to do more research on real estate and some of the tactics and strategies that I apply, feel free to go onto the StocktonREINetwork.com. We have the blog listed there. We have that in a written format as well as a video YouTube format. So I'd recommend that as well. We only have 2 minutes left, so I just want to open it up to the group. If there's any last questions, comments, any last minute plugs you want to provide, feel free before we sign off here at 8.
So I just had one question about your Slack comments. So you mentioned that property that you showed earlier was on there. I'm looking at the Slack right now and I don't see that up there. So
yeah, sure. No, it should be in the general channel. So Derek, I'll message you directly. I just provided a screenshot that showed someone reach out to me asking if I wanted to purchase a home in the Garden Acres area in Stockton. So I'll send that over to you just so you see that.
I'll just say, shameless plug, I'm actively looking for a flip right now. So if anybody has anything come across their plate that for whatever reason they don't want to take on, or you got a direct line to wholesale it to me, I don't care what a wholesaler makes. If the numbers work for me, the numbers work for me. So, or even
what's your criteria, DJ?
I know nothing about Stockton, so we'll deflect to Willie once somebody sends me the address. But I'm looking pretty much in Greater Northern California, Stockton to Sac to East Bay. I don't really want to get on the peninsula side of the Bay Area, but that's kind of my triangle.
Okay.
I want to do a shameless plug also. I'm looking for fixers in the Bay Area and Stockton, and I do look for properties up to 1.5 million, single family homes only.
Gotcha. Thanks, D'Angelo. Thanks, DJ. We're gonna obviously send this recording out to the YouTube, on the email, on the website. So hopefully we can get a wider net of people who might be interested in selling to both of you. Great. With that being said, thank you all for joining today. We have a great lineup for January of seminars, web masterminds and webinars. Hopefully we can get DJ to present in January. We can get the flight team to present in January. And then I have somebody who's going to be presenting about 1031 exchanges in January as well. And then we're going to work on getting Derek, who was one of the early webinar presenters, to come and talk about his experience. So we'll talk about that going into January. I just want to say thank you all for a great 2020. This is a great opportunity to get us all to network and do better in real estate, and become financially independent and grow and become experts in real estate. So it's really been a great experience chatting with all of you and working with all of you. And on to 2021. So with that being said, happy holidays, happy New Year, Merry Christmas, stay safe, and you'll see invites for me going into January. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Willie.
Thanks, Willie.
Yep. Bye.